centuries, mankind has been fascinated with realms outside of our conscious awareness. Through a series of interviews with practitioners, guest speakers, and experts, Liberate the Podcast covers all that and more. From health and holistic healing to the supernatural, we aim to educate, motivate, inspire, and liberate your consciousness. Hi, welcome to another episode of Liberate the Podcast. Today, we have in one of our own practitioners, Kiara. She is a healing artist that specializes in so many different modalities. We're going to learn a little bit about her modalities, and you know how I like to do it. We go off cuff a little bit, kind of learn about her deepest, darkest secrets too, so you can know where she got here and who she is and everything. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay. So I want to start out with talking a little bit about, what you do, okay? And then we're going to get into who you are.
Okay.
How about that?
Yes, that sounds good.
So here you do Reiki with us, you do oracle card readings, multiple faceted other healings,
yes.
Her Reiki sessions are definitely different. She makes you lay in like all different directions and different poses, props you up with a whole bunch of pillows and blankets. Never had a session like that before, but you really get in, to the different areas and an energy clearing process. And, so let me hear a little bit from you.
So my first love and why I was crafted and created by the Creator is to facilitate healing and hold space for healing. So I just geek out about all different healing modalities. I have training in urban Zen integrative therapy. I have a love for Reiki and I've studied in Japan. I'm learning about Sakim, which is Kimetic Reiki. So all things healing and all things art, that's my jam. That's what I do.
All things healing and all things art.
Yes,
I love that.
That's my jam.
And this we're creativity and spirituality uniting here. So it's a perfect home for you.
Yes, it really is. And I've told you that. I love it here. It's definitely my home. So.
And so a little bit more on the different types of art stuff that you do as well.
I do art direction for music videos. I create art. I write. I'm allowing spirit to express through me in all these different ways. We all can express in these ways. It's just about allowing. So I've been making the space, and however it's coming out, I'm just letting that process happen. It's been beautiful. I started off doing wardrobe. I was working in special events, and it's just kind of followed this beautiful path where you can connect these dots, and things that I thought weren't going to be related are. It's amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
It's fun.
It's one of the best things when you work with individuals or when you see somebody's life where there's these elements that you think, oh, I spent all this time or this energy or whatever doing this, and then I'm not going to ever use it again. And then 3 years later, 5 years later, whatever that time frame is, suddenly it's meshed together.
Yes.
And it's like one of the same.
Yes. I wouldn't be where I am now and today doing what I do and loving it without every single stop that has happened along the way. I got into my healing path after...
I was just going to ask you that.
Yeah.
When did okay, so we got you into wardrobe and into art, and then where did this healing kind of come into play?
So I moved to Los Angeles from Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
And my first job in Los Angeles was at a record label. I've always loved music. That led me to experiencing and opening up and learning all these different gifts that I had hidden inside of me. I never really knew exactly what I wanted to do. I went to college because I had a scholarship. I wanted to study psychology because I was always interested in the human brain and our essence, which I didn't know was, related to spirit. So I moved out here. Fast forward, I'm working at special events on Rodeo Drive. I had this amazing boss. He was one of the pioneers of the Cabbage Patch campaign, this amazing artist, theater artist and creator. And I lost him. He passed away suddenly. And he passed away right when my niece was being born. And so I was, for the first time, seeing life and seeing the cycles of life. And it really just opened up and expanded my mind and set me off on this path. And a connection that we had was crystals. A gift that I had given him was a peach moonstone, I believe. And he passed away around his birthday, and he had me send out 12 sets of books for his birthday to his friends. And they were the Celestine Prophecy, the Giving Tree, the Song of Hiawatha, and I believe a Song for the Flowers.
Wow.
So it was just a little nugget.
Did you read all those books?
I didn't read all of them, but The Giving Tree was always my favorite book. The Celestine Prophecy, everyone knows the Celestine Prophecy, and it's like deeply rooted and has all of this esoteric knowledge in it.
Oh my god, it's so good. And if you reread it after not reading it for a while,
Yes.
I did that just a few months ago. I was going through a hard time, and I reread that, and I was just like blown open all over again.
That's what I want to do. So, and then a Song for the Flowers and Song of Hiawatha. So, just even The Giving Tree, you know, I was in so much pain at that time that The Giving Tree, that was like perfect for me. I always had a connection to that book. But that kind of just set me on this path. And it was like, what do you really want to leave behind? What are you actually here for? Because I've always been ambitious, but I was just doing things more for the money. I don't feel like I was really living exactly in my purpose.
Gotcha. Which so many people can relate to that, you know. Many people feel that they work so they can live instead of, you know, embracing every day and letting their work be their life and fulfill.
Yes. And so he passed, and I got really into yoga and meditation and just self-study, isolation. In my years that I was working, you know, working in Hollywood, you're out, you're partying every night, and just putting yourself in these situations that maybe don't necessarily agree with your spirit, but you can't even see it at the time.
Yeah. Because you're so caught up in the routine of it.
Yes,
you know?
It's just normal. I had lost others in my life to different substance-related, you know, things. And so it really just got me, it stopped me completely and had me look in the mirror and start assessing myself.
I'm saying,
I feel like I was heading on that. Yeah.
Is this the path you really want to take, or do you want to diverge?
I was just on a path.
Yeah, on a path. I can relate to that.
Yeah. So, you know, you start studying, you start seeking, asking for truth, asking why you're here, asking your purpose, and not accepting anything less.
Mm-hmm.
And it's led me to this amazing path of healing. And I think that most healers, your reasoning for wanting to go into it stems from some pain or wanting to heal yourself.
Yeah.
My purpose and mission is just to hold space and remind others that they're not alone and that they are their highest healer. We heal ourselves first.
Yeah. And it's almost like that, you know, in order for the person to truly learn anything, like, you become a master when you become a teacher, right?
Yes.
And so when you work on it through something, you can relate better, right? So you went on your own healing and, let's say, inner voyage, right?
Yes.
And so there was all of this chaos or rather tragedies that were happening on the outside world that you said, okay, I don't want me to become a tragedy. And so what am I doing? Because what am I doing isn't working for me, but I don't know what I want to do, right?
Yes.
And so then you're in this exploration, you stop everything for a little bit. I heard you say that you kind of did a little seclusion or like your own self for a minute. And
I just unplugged
and tapped into meditation, tapped into reading, tapped into yoga.
Yes.
And as you're going through this, what are some of the things that you learned about yourself and learned about life?
I learned that underneath all of the things that I was perceivingly attaining, I was still me. And that I knew all along who I was and my power, and that I was brought here to use that, and that it's going to express in different ways at different times.
Wow.
But that's my starting point for everything.
That is very profound, and I want to reiterate that because I think a lot of people miss that. Underneath it all, you were still yourself.
Yes.
Right? And that's where everybody, you're still yourself, no matter where you're at. We're just clouded with delusion and illusion and perceptions and limiting beliefs and restrictions, but some of it is our own brought upon things, and some of it is society or parental or just kind of absorbed. But when you clear it all away, you're still there.
Yes.
You're always there.
And you know all along.
And it's just about, are you, the light's still shining, even if the blanket's covering it, you just might not see the light. So you take over the blanket and the light's illuminating,
yes.
right? But the light was always shining.
Yes.
It was on.
Yes.
It was just buried.
Yes. You're unearthing it all the time.
Yeah.
So you start going through all these layers to get to what it is. And what it is hard to verbalize, but it's something that you can feel. Something that once you experience, you can't look back. And I hold space for that.
Beautiful and profound. And so going through that, I mean, some of this, like a lot of people when they come into a place like Liberate or get sessions, readings and healings and stuff like that, they're looking for that guidance and answer, or that, what would you say? What would you say that the people that come to see you, where are they at and what do they need most?
They need to express.
Mm-hmm.
They need safe space. They need a hug, touch.
Yeah.
They really just need someone to see them as they're seeing themselves. Anyone that comes to see me, I'm just reflecting back to them their essence and who they are.
Yeah.
So I'm just a reminder. I'm just a vessel. I'm just an agent. And I feel like any healer that tells you anything else might not be the healer for you.
Yeah.
That's the truth that I've experienced. Anything that I am holding space for, I've experienced myself, and it's helped me. And I'm an evangelist.
Mm-hmm.
And this is literally my purpose and my mission in life. So I'm just reflecting back to them.
Yeah.
And letting them know, helping them, really giving them tools. What we need are tools.
We do. We need tools, and in the aspect of needing tools, people also need that reassurance and that permission.
Yes.
That they can step into who they are.
Yes, and that it's okay for them to explore. We have all this programming and these boxes and these chains and binds that can stop us sometimes from exploring our truth.
Yeah. So if we backtrack a little bit, so you go through all of this internal kind of reflection and finding and searching and understanding, and then you come out of that, and when did you decide that, what, I need to do this for others?
People just started coming to me. They just started coming to me. I was doing the work on myself, and then I realized truly that I had been doing it my whole life.
Isn't that funny?
Yes.
That's where a lot of people, especially people that hear a lot, and we'll get into your special gifts too, and those other vibrations and energies and those clairs that people talk about, clairvoyant, clairsentient, but clairaudiences. But with that, oftentimes people say, well, when did it happen? And when I interview people, they're like, well, kind of when I realized I've been kind of picking up things my whole life. It just the frequency or the attunement to it wasn't coming in on the most clear level, right?
Yes.
It's like the muffled vibration of music in the background until it gets turned up or until something gets turned down, right?
Yes.
And then you can hear everything.
Yes, it's just like you're tuning on the radio station, and you can pass the station, you can go back. It's there all along. It's just you getting that sweet spot. And there are certain practices that help and support you getting into that sweet spot. So I started getting into those practices, and I started being able to hear how I was supposed to move, how I was supposed to express, love, give, serve, create, be.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So you hear things, and you also have the gift of in feeling as well.
Yes.
You know, and so in that you feel and you sense, and that's part of when somebody's coming in and getting a healing from you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and let's talk a little bit about that, because your Reiki healings are a little bit different than other Reiki healings, at least that I've experienced.
Yes.
And just in general, sometimes people that might be tuning in, maybe they know stuff about energy healing, maybe they don't, maybe they're very experienced with it, but everything in between. And there's some people that are like not even sure what an energy healing is. So let's take people through, like, when somebody comes in, you know, what can they expect, and what is your process working with somebody?
So my foundation is that we all have healing energies emanating from us from the moment that we come here. And the simplest example is, if you want to console someone, you'll go to hug them, or if you stub your toe, you'll go to grab it. And so we have this energy, this whatever it is within us all along.
It's like little kids, and they bring their cut to their mom and say, "Kiss it, mommy."
Yes,
like
and all of a sudden it's better. So, and there are so many layers of that. We could go metaphysical. There's so many places that we could go. But in essence, I know my vessel is attuned to those energies, and my practice attunes me more deeply. I believe we all have different spiritual gifts, and they can layer. But I've always felt my whole life, I could pick up on things. I would hear and say things just intuitively, but we're not taught exactly what to do with these gifts, or that it's anything at all to even be mindful of or pay attention to.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, things started being revealed to me through my practice, through my devotion and my study. And I got a vision of blue flames coming out of my hands in a meditation. Prior to that, I had done a Reiki share, and everyone in the room was like, "You must have done this before. You've never done this before." And I hadn't. But there was something there that it took me back. I was like, I've been here before. Mm-hmm. So when I saw the visualization, and I don't really get visualizations, my gifts express, it's kind of like spirit is stepping into my body and operating through me. Gotcha. And some people use the word channel. I'm open, I'm not very attached to labels, because I'm still learning and still growing all the time, and new things are always expressing. But when I saw that, I started looking into the symbolism, and I was receiving messages from others, song lyrics, dreams. It just started to unfold, and I started to trust. I started to trust.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
And so it has your, trusting and allowing, and that's getting you into where you're at, So having somebody come in, what senses get activated? What are you able to tap into with them?
I'm usually able to tap into what they need in that moment. I always open, with a prayer and set space for whatever needs to come through for whoever I'm working with. I believe that there's so much power in touch. I love it because it's something that we've had since the beginning of time. It's something that we've always utilized. Yeah. We have a history of Reiki, but we know that even prior to Reiki, in many sacred texts, we've always used touch. Yeah. Our town healers and our prophets and people that worked in healing in our towns before, we would always use touch. So you don't need anything to be able to use touch, and I love that. Yeah. So that's what draws me specifically to touch. But I'm trained in Urban Zen Integrative Therapy, which has taught me how to layer modalities. Cool. And that's opened.
What's that exactly for those that don't know?
So layering different healing techniques. So utilizing touch with aromatherapy, music, meditation, even light in the room, using darkness and light. There are all these subtle healing nuances.
Yeah. And it's kind of creating a recipe for what is best, right?
Yes.
And it's utilizing all of the different senses and sensations that people have to really put them in that space.
Yes, using breath to calm the nervous system, using sound to relax and release and cleanse. Yeah, so it's really interesting. And I'm learning all the time. Like, I'm the student. I'm the ultimate sponge. I'm the ultimate student. A lot of it's very intuitive.
Yeah.
But it just comes from this amazing, beautiful space. And it's all of these practices have changed my life so deeply that I can't not share it with others. Like I said, at my core, I'm an evangelist.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
Yeah.
So I'm here to just share.
To share, to touch, to move, to inspire.
Yes.
Transform.
Reflect, mirror.
All of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, also you do some oracle readings as well too.
Yes.
Where do you feel that comes into play? Like, when is that good for people?
I think it's good if you want insight outside of yourself, or even if you've been receiving insight and you want confirmation. I think that readings are the beginning of you strengthening that relationship for yourself, so it ties in directly to your own practice. And any reader or any healer or anyone that is helping you should be giving you tools to strengthen your own practice. We're all supposed to be healing together.
Yeah. And
and
I love that approach and the way that you look at it as healing, right? Because that's one of the things that I think at Liberate I really try to stress with having practitioners here like yourself that are about transforming the individual, not just giving information. It's about taking it to the next step, okay?
Yes.
And in your vocabulary of explaining it, you're like, no, this is for healing. This isn't just about a reading. This is to heal and transform.
Yes.
And taking it and allowing the person to get where they're wanting to go, or to free their self from whatever chains and restrictions they have.
Yes. It's all about you remembering.
And there you go again, remembering,
yes.
right? Because at the core, they're there.
You're there. You've been here. You know. Mm-hmm. It's just perception and all of the things that happen to us in our life. My life could have taken such a different path. I was diagnosed with bipolar when I was younger. Mm-hmm. I had depression. I was suicidal. I saw and had experienced all this trauma. But I transmuted and transformed my trauma.
Yeah, transforming and using it as a strength. And if more people can realize how to do that, and who better to lead them than somebody that literally did that. And doing, because it's always a lifetime of work, but I hope that those people that are watching and hearing can get the understanding and the vibration of the purity of and the honesty and integrity of your speech, right? It's like, it's not just somebody saying they do something, they can literally feel it from you, or at least I can right now. It's like, okay, no, I've transformed that. I have peace with that. I'm not that I'm looking at that as one of my strong suits, as one of my strengths, and moving me into the next realm,
Yes. It's true.
I love that. Would you say that that's what you specialize most with, is people that are really needing to transmute and transcend elements or trauma or pain from their past?
Definitely. I feel like any strife or anything that we feel like is against us or was a hardship in our life, we're to transmute and transform and in turn help others. That's how I really feel. You can feel when someone's speech is empty, or if they're operating off of a certain, like a script. How can you teach me or hold space for me in something that you yourself haven't experienced or gone through or lifted yourself out of? I've never understood that, but that's not for me to understand. It's for me to live and be and hold space for.
Yeah.
So yes.
I hope people are getting that, from hearing you.
I hope so.
Share with me, if you wouldn't mind, a couple stories of people that, without names, keeping identities private, of course, but the themes that maybe people went through in life and what you were able to, seeing you and working with you, how you help them transcend and transmute,
I've helped multiple people with divorces, and like disconnecting, with compassion. I've held space for individuals to transition to the other realm. Eating disorder, literally.
I know, like, a lot of different things, but if there's like one or two stories that come out into your mind of like, this is where somebody was and this is a impact of, we all have those clients where we're like, wow, they really,
One in particular was in the process, had been betrayed and was in the process of separating from their partner and was just really down. And we worked together for a couple years, and finally I saw them just blossom on their own, start their own business and move on in a loving way. I don't want to tell so many details, but
yeah, no, of
I
course,
hope that's enough.
Absolutely.
And there are so many stories. I think that the greatest story is mine. And that's the most important. And I always tell clients that I'm a resource.
Yeah.
Anything that you are going through, if I haven't been there, I know a kick-ass healer or reader or someone that I can refer you to. Because like I said, it's all about authenticity and you having experienced it and transmuted it.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. It's not about reading. It's like the groundwork, doing the work and doing the work for yourself first. So, yeah, I love my clients. I've had some amazing stories, and it's all healing me too.
Yeah. Well, everything you put out in the world, you work on changing yourself too. And you lead meditations as well here.
Yes.
I'm sure other places, but as far as what are some of the meditations? Because that was kind of what started this journey. Well, I mean, the journey was your journey of your life, but I mean, you had all of this things going on, and you decided to turn inward and really dive into meditation and yoga. So, what type of meditation and what are those experiences like?
So it definitely started with yoga. You get like a tiny little piece of meditation usually in a standard Western yoga class. And I wanted to just explore that. So I've tried TM meditation, Yoga Nidra. I love Yoga Nidra. And also walking meditation, Vipassana. But through my training, I was trained in breath and body awareness meditation, which I think you taught me is similar to NLP. So I guess that's the main form of meditation that I do.
Okay.
Where since I work with touch, I'm a very sensate, kinetic kind of person. And so I like to explore what's happening in your body. Because I think we don't have the opportunity often enough to listen to what our body is telling us. And it's usually trying to signal to us. So by focusing or going through different parts of the body, you're able to explore and really deepen the connection with yourself. And I think it's preventative medicine.
Yeah.
Because you have the opportunity to see what's going on and where it leads you. On your path of healing. So if you have a lot of anxiety, you might notice that when you're doing a meditation, maybe you're having a lot of thoughts or all of this in your mind, but just that starting point, and you recognizing that that's the starting point of your healing. You noticing and wanting to change something. So it's really interesting. But yes, I work a lot with the body, a lot with natural elements. I'm from the country. I like to be outside barefoot in the forest, playing in the mud. So a lot of what I do is very nature-inspired and nature-based. That's my first experience with channeling was in the desert.
Oh, wow.
So I have a very strong connection with the desert and the forest, and I love nature. So a lot of what I do is very nature-inspired, nature-based, very grounding.
Okay, so you bring that into the meditations here
Yes.
and other places. So,
Yes.
So, are people, in a traditional like kind of meditation? Are they doing more active movements through your meditation, or what is it kind of like?
It depends on which one. I have both.
Yeah.
I like to read kind of what's going on in the room, and some of them are a little more active with a little more breath. Because of my training, I can really tune into, do we need to come down? Do we need to be grounded? Or do we need to be more active and more energized?
So you listen to the room.
So I listen to the room, and I definitely incorporate both. And I have this wealth of knowledge because of all of these trainings at my disposal. So that's really...
She goes all around the world and in different countries and studies, so that she's not just doing the studying here. She's really immersing herself in studies. And even since I've known you, you've done a few different away stays, even within this country, but whether they're meditation retreats, silent meditations, off to Japan, learning more about Reiki, doing different things. And so like you're really living that you're constantly growing and learning yourself and bringing those new energies. And I also think that that's like, I don't know, some of the best ways. I mean, like let's say like you want to go to the newest, greatest research facility if you get diagnosed with a bad like physical ailment or something like that. You don't want to go to the place that kind of has been set in their ways forever, right? You want the new stuff.
Exactly.
I mean, that's recently with my dad's battling cancer, and he they stayed in their small town for a minute, and now they're like actually going to the Carbone Cancer Center, and it's like completely different night and day because their information is a lot better,
Yes.
and they've been constantly studying, right?
Yes. I always say, I know in a past life I was a doctor, and in this life I can definitely see myself studying medicine, but I think that there's so much more that has to take place, and it's all about integrating all of these different points. Integrating the medicine and spirit and movement, and so it's like we're a living, breathing, growing, expanding organism.
Yeah, and there's nothing, there's always more to learn.
Yes. So I'm all about learning. I've always been into school, so it's interesting because now I'm in like a spiritual school.
Yeah.
And this school is life, and it's amazing, but
we all are.
Yes,
if more people
we
realize
all are.
that,
we all are.
That we're just in a school of life,
So I'm just studying to bring it all back.
Yeah.
To share it all.
And help others realize that, and as we were talking about, see that they've always been the light shining.
Yes.
I love that.
We have to take our power back, and we take our power back by working with the elements, by working with nature, by working with readers, healers, divination, color, messages. It's
sound,
that's how we
all of it.
Yes, that's how we take our power back.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So if you had to leave people with a couple things, what would it be?
You put me on the spot.
I did.
know. I would just leave you with your love, and that you have the truth inside of you. You know exactly what you need to do. You just need to be reminded that you have to trust yourself. Trust yourself. Love yourself. And us at Liberate, we're here for you. We're holding space for you.
Yeah. So where can I find you?
I am here at Liberate Hollywood on Instagram. I have 2 Instagrams. I have one that's more focused on healing, and it's Day Moon Healing. And I have another one where I express more of my art, and that's LIL Bright One. But you can find me here. Call me here. Come see me here at Liberate. This is my hub. So
Awesome. Thank you so much. And she does a lot of classes and workshops too, so definitely continue to look into the schedule, and I'm sure we'll have you on talking about something again shortly.
Yes, I would love that.
Thank you.